Hello and welcome everyone to a Sacred Symbols reading. It is Sunday, September 4th, 2022. My name is Desiree DeMars and I'm your host today for this reading. And I'm going to just dive right in. I hope you are having a wonderful holiday. And I don't know, there's been some, well, we know everything's going through a huge transition, everything, everyone and everything, and even the planet. So definitely something's going on with water. We're having mass floodings or extreme drought. So too much or not enough of. And so in this process of rebalancing the water element, which of course we all know is our emotional state or our emotional container. It's a metaphor for the container of our emotions. So I just invite you on this holiday to take some time to explore what's going on emotionally with you in relationship to whatever your intention, your intuition, your inner self, your higher self is telling you, is guiding you about the inquiry or questions that you have today. Or maybe for this week, a theme that you feel for the week. And with that, just a little reminder that the intention that we hold today, and we're going to infuse in the symbols of inside the basket, are we're wanting to align with that I am presence, our intention, our attention, and the knowing that everything is in movement, flow. It's a hollow movement. It's a flux. So when we talk about the term of many artists say you're in the flow, that's what we want to be in all the time. As a creator, as the creators that we are, we want to be flowing with body, mind, and spirit. We want to be able to adapt and to change. So take that intention, bring it into your heart as I start the invocation for our reading today. And I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. You might need to yawn so that you can allow the jaw to relax. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. That's it, sinking even deeper into the spine, into the hips, into the sacred bone, the sacrum, and feeling that connection from up above where we can imagine a brilliant white light, that we're in this field or this channel of brilliant white light that is there always, but it's connecting us to the very center of the earth, to Pachamama, the divine feminine. And then feeling her iron molten core and feel that immediate connection or amplification or that spark of vitality, that spark of your health and vitality ignited by the iron that resonates with the iron at the core of the earth, and feel that travel throughout your immune system, activating those T cells. Or if at any time you feel like you want to create or align intention with the activation of your T cells, you just tap on the breastbone, right about at the center here. And this awakening of the bone of the breastbone ignites or stimulates T cell production. So with that intention, let's strengthen our immune system, just gentle tapping. And then naturally you begin to feel the energy rise back up, almost in a spiral type of energy or a spiral wave pattern, and you can feel your chakras coming into alignment, awakening and being activated, so that all of our chakras are open, fully functioning, front and back, balanced and aligned. And as the chakras open, we again spark this awakening of each chakra. And with it, the colors, the vibrancy of the rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and white, again spilling out over the top of the head, flowing throughout your toroidal field like an infinite and eternal fountain of life force. And in that life force, just imagine that anything is possible. You can bring into balance, you can change any organs, tissues, cells in your body simply by your intention and placing your attention on those places and allowing flow, allowing movement, health, and vitality to activate that rainbow of colors. And we know there are a multitude of colors that we don't even see, but these are our visual spectrum. So we can imagine those, and then knowing we can use our imagination and see this golden orb of light right above the head, right above the crown of the head. And you can feel an activation at each shoulder, the right and the left, and feeling this golden pyramid. I like to just imagine a ribbon, a river, a thread of golden light coming down and awakening us to the connection of all things. The Egyptians called it, or they were called, the masters of the net. Those who could master aligning. And I think if you can just imagine that, it's seen in hieroglyphics. And in fact, I'll post a link to a new Gaia program about the masters of the net, which is bringing in information about biogeometry and Egyptian practice, which I've studied with Ibrahim Karim. And one of his top students is facilitating or teaching, taking you through this Gaia program, this Gaian program about becoming the master of the net. In Hawaiian shamanism, we call it the Aka field, or some people call it the all that is, the Akash. And I, for many, many years now, have seen it as this golden web of light. Some just call it the web of light. So however your imagination, maybe it's just a sensation or a knowing, imagine this golden thread activates your awareness of the web, of this web of light, or this net of light that connects all things. And with that, let's imagine a sacred circle surrounding you, surrounding the board, where we will be bringing in these sacred symbols to bring guidance and information. And take a couple more deep breaths, really feeling that grounding, and yet now expanded fully into our superconscious, connected to all that is the great mystery. And now affirming that we are bringing in all of the directions, the east, the south, the west, the north, above, below, and the middle. And that we're calling in, come and be with us, all of the elementals, earth, air, fire, water, ether, plasma, neutrinos, gammas, and all those elements still unknown to man. Come and be with us, come and be with us. All of our guides, angels, teachers, guardians, the seen and the unseen, the magical and the mystical, the two-legged, the four-legged, the many-legged, the winged ones, the finned ones, and the creepy crawlers. Come and be with us. Join us in this circle of sacred energy, bringing the positive, the light, this piezoelectric connection that we have to our bones, to our ancestors, those who've gone before us, lived a good life, and transcended and are now here working on our behalf. Come and be with us. Come and be with us, all those whose names we do not know, but whose blood runs through our veins. Come and be with us as we sit in the sacred circle. This circle of home within our central channel, now expanded out beyond the body, through our auric field, through this net, through this web of light, into the room, beyond the room, surrounding the building that we're in, and even beyond that, out into the realms of all those that we called forth to join us today on your behalf, and on the behalf of anybody that you know or feel needs healing, guidance, clarity. You can bring them into the circle to receive the benefits, so that not only we receive these benefits, but all those we come in contact will. And may these benefits affect our past lineage, our ancestral lineage, and bring healing to the past, present, and future. So take another breath and add anything else that resonates with you, calling in your own guides, angels, and teachers. Taking a deep breath, filling the lungs, the belly. Again, feeling that connection to Pachamama. And then allowing the rattles for just a few moments to activate or bring us into a deeper alpha or theta state. So I'm going to invite you to blow into the basket with me 3 times. Okay. And then with that, I am going to share my screen so that you can see from up above. And I am going to bring in this overhead camera. And hopefully, let's see if we can do this. There we go. Bring it into full screen. So here we go. Let me straighten this out a little bit and just get a little more. Let me get a higher view here. so that I can get a little more of the cloth. There we go. And I'll move it as we go through the reading if needed, because some pieces will go out to the outer edge. Let's see if I can pull this in. There we go. Oh yeah. Okay, that's a little better, a little more centered. So here we go. Beautiful holiday weekend. See what we've got here. Maybe a little too bright. Let me raise this light up here so that you might even see these a little bit better. There we go. Looks a little bright on this end. There we go. Out of the shot there. Okay, I think that looks good. I'm happy with that. So I hope this is clear for you, and I think I've got most of it. I will have to shift it a little at the top here. Oh, guys, rolling already. Everything stayed on the cloth today. That's interesting, and everything feels like it's really kind of spaced out nicely, other than a little collection right here. And I'm seeing that it's right where the piece of coral that represents the inquiry is. So this inquiry is laying right next to a couple of things that are of interest. This little shard, this blue shard that is all about speaking your truth. The 3 on the domino just representing a full external expression of your purpose, of your spiritual journey, of being a soul at this time here on earth. And what's really interesting is we've got, I'll change my glasses. Yeah, Neptune here, right at the opening of the inquiry. So if there's, there probably is, there could be things in your life right now that you're feeling a little foggy about, a little foggy, a little froggy. And what's really fascinating is we've got 2 timekeepers right here, practically side by side, but they're both facing up. So I would say if you're feeling a little bit of a stall or something that's kind of feel like it's holding you back, or you're in a rut, however you'd like to explain or express that, this fogginess, this uncertainty, this unclarity is here. And, I know we're coming up to a Mercury retrograde, so we might be just feeling some of the funk or some of the having to do things twice, having to really pay attention, cross all the T's, dot all the I's before you sign any contracts. Somebody reminded me today that in the next couple weeks, I'm going to be out of town. I'm going to be visiting my mother. And her suggestion was, not to do any kind of, well, probably not the best time to be traveling, but we shall see. Hopefully there will be no hiccups with flights. And so for me, this is like a message that's an opportunity. It's giving us an opportunity to really prepare for something. Take your time, take a little extra time, and be sure. I had a beautiful friend tell me yesterday that we got together for dinner with some other friends because her sister passed, and we were all just bringing her support. And one thing she said was, I really prayed for ease and grace with the whole process. And that's exactly then what unfolded. Everything was just falling into place. So this is the opportunity for ease and grace here on this earth plane, because, and then having community, it was a perfect example. So I'll say this reading too, I'd like to dedicate to Susan, who is now transitioned and on the other side. And we'll see if there's anything of value around that. How this might bring light to Sandra or anything about her sister, Susan. And so, yeah, if there's stuff that's foggy, it's kind of like just take a breath, take a pause. It's not meant to move forward right now. Maybe things are just not meant to move forward. It's more about really connecting with community. Oh, this is so beautiful. You've got both the ancient ones on the maternal of your maternal lineage, right? Nestled in the middle is the shaman. And it's about just creating sacred space, right? Taking time to acknowledge in this deep, deep transition. That's what's underneath all of it, this Plutonian level of transformation. And it's just saying, you know, take pause, take a breath, really see things clearly, because we are literally, our DNA is changing. This is what's going on here, right? On planet Earth, we are transforming. And I believe that's Mercury there. So, you know, and it's about just communicating, speaking your truth about whatever is, you know, whatever it is that's coming up or that you feel is not coming up that you want to come up, you know, really get in touch with that, because underneath it all, there will be emotions. Here we have the all that is, the great mystery, but facing down. So, and it's right next to Mars, this idea of like wanting, and Mars, in fact, is upside down. So I would say my interpretation of that is we're wanting to move forward. That's the big picture, the long term. And then the present moment is the truth in all of it, is that we are part of a great mystery, and things are unfolding in their perfect and divine order. And it may not make any sense, and it may bring up a lot of emotional baggage, a lot of old emotions. I'm gonna unpack this a little bit. There we go. And what's there is the third eye, right? And it's all happening because what is deeper, what's further, what's below the surface is the deeper insight, the deeper wisdom, the deeper knowing. And I might not get this back exactly how it was, but it was something like that. So, I mean, we're just looking at proximity of things, but we are looking at our ancient ones, really call in the ancient ones. And grandfather on your father's side, your paternal grandfather, and the greats on your father's side. They're all there. I feel like, you know, again, I mean, this has been a theme for over a year now, probably several years, but, you know, this balancing of masculine and feminine. And so you might want to focus on your father's side. I had a couple of readings in the last week that was really powerful, powerful information, and you just can't make this stuff up. It was a brother and sister, and there were so many things that landed almost identical, or just energetically, the message was so similar. So, you know, really, I trust that, you know, and it's all about regaining the power, opening up, and in re-engaging our inner strength, right? This is solar plexus, third chakra. So it's about kind of having a rebirth around who we are, taking our power back, right? This is rebirth. And sometimes if we're feeling like we're at a fork in a road, it's okay, because we are, you know, there's definitely one part of the fork that is about big changes, and it's not always easy. You know, it sounds fantastic, and, you know, and yet we have to be able to fasten our seatbelts for what is to come. And then I see this opening up in this direction, and we've got a lot of healing going on in the heart chakra. And to facilitate that, to support us, here is Deer, which is all about innocence. So this idea of innocence, this awe and wonder that we all have and we came in with as children, and we can still go back and remember. In fact, here is amulet. So it's like horse is heading right toward deer, and this idea of medicine, right? Like you could create a medicine bag this week. You could create an amulet. Could be super simple, but it's all about the intention for aligning the higher energy centers with the heart, right? Finding that coherence. Allow yourself to go into a place of coherence, because that's where this childlike wonder and beauty is, right? In our own innocence. And within that innocence, I just got chills saying it, what is also, what was the thought here? I got this sensation of it activates or reactivates or helps us to remember that childlike part of within ourselves, which is the seed of being the master of imagination, right? Imagination, that's where the magic is, right? Being able to create, right? Like a magician, a master magician. So as you go through your week this week, be really in gratitude for community. Say what it is you need, express your feelings, and know that through that in comes abundance. Abundance and and a truth, love, and beauty. This is Venus. A beauty, abundance, money, right? Whatever it is that your heart's desire. And this is a young adult on your father's side. So that's interesting. It's like the men. Here we have like an arc here, which is so interesting. Then we've got grandmother on your father's side. And we've got a whole circle. It's interesting. Look at the ancestors. They've kind of formed a circle today, which is incredible. This one's a little bit inside, but look at this. We've got, and here they're dancing. I feel like they're like in a spiral dance. And your mother's lineage, the feminine here is kind of the foundation. It's like coming back to this foundation of the divine feminine and knowing that here is your father, right? And the work that's going on is in the father's lineage right now. I think we're having a wave of this, and this is what's going on. And I know I have been feeling, and how it might play out, I'll give this as an example, is I kept having an intuitive hit about somebody in my life, like retiring or leaving or somehow not being available that I depend on. And I found out yesterday, I got a letter in the mail saying that my family doctor is moving into a different medical model, and she won't be in part of the practice that she's been in for years. And I love her dearly. Though knock on wood, I don't need to use her very often, but I've just really grown to love her. And for me, the medical model that she'll be using with this membership doesn't work for me. I like using my my benefits with my insurance that I have. So I'm just looking at that with this is somewhere something is shifting, right? And again, it's like emotions. Here's the moon. And it's the dark side of the moon, which is interesting. But just know whatever it is you're feeling, here's mother. So interesting. Mother and father are directly across from each other. That is so beautiful. It's like, here's your mother's lineage. Here's your father's lineage. You're kind of doing this dance. It's like a yin and yang. And yet here is father within the mother's realm. And here is the mother within the father's lineage. This is fantastic. I hope you can kind of see or sense. Now, again, you have to kind of use your imagination, but you can see here the red tipped bones, the red waxed bones, kind of here, except for mother. And then we've got the blue on the opposite side, except for mother, red, except for father. Hope I got that straight. Red, mother's lineage, but your father is right there next to grandfather on your mother's side. And then we've got mother right next to grandmother. How beautiful, grandmother and grandfather of opposite lineages. It's as if I think our ancestral lineage, as we start to do deeper and deeper layers of healing, deeper and deeper levels of conscious awareness in working with our ancestral lineage, our wounds, our old patterns on this spiritual journey that we're on, it's like creating space. If we're not doing it consciously, it's forcing us into something new, and then having to use our creativity because it's uncharted territory. So that's what I'm picking up about this. It's uncharted territory. It's like a reweaving of the masculine and feminine lineages, mothers and fathers, grandmothers. Fascinating. I could probably go into even more detail. But if you want something like that, I'm going to invite you to have a one-on-one personal session with me, where that's what we would do. We would dive into your personal healing process and your lineage, or I can facilitate shamanic healing in the process too. So here you are, which is interesting. Oh, wow. Right on top of the star nations, this jade star, right on top. It's almost like really, it's like a kind of reminds me of family constellation work, if you've done any of that. And this is grandmother on your father's side, your paternal grandmother. And she is resting not only on you, but also on this idea of something, again, that's kind of hidden, the same theme that we came in with Neptune, right? And here it is right there. I mean, if you looked at this like your natal chart, you can start to see configurations, right? So I think this would be like a conjunction. So that's pretty fascinating. So look at your family lineage within you. See how it's playing out within you. And then that will give you guidance on how to approach ancestral healing. And you can ask your own guides to guide you in this and work with you, or you can connect with a shaman, connect with like-minded others and who are doing healing work, and do that together. But what it will bring is clarity of mind, right? Clarity of mind. Excuse me. Clarity of mind and more balance in the body. And this transfiguration that will unfold is also supported in part by this idea of reflection, right? That's what we're doing. When you're looking at your ancestral work or ancestral lineage issues, that's where we must go. We must go to the core and see it within ourselves, knowing that the pattern is playing itself out, right? That's what our life is about, the pattern playing itself out. So this is the physical body, this is mental clarity, this is Buffalo, and it's all about, that is where we are ultimately provided for, right? Within, deep within, at this home within, with our star nations, our ancestors, right? That are the star beings or the light beings that we are. I mean, I'm going to also include, I hope it's still available. I hope it's in recording form, but I watched a fantastic recording from a local astronomy group here about the James Webb, some of the results from the James Webb telescope. And, then I started to dive a little deeper from this, this class, or this little mini course on, about the James Webb and the future of using this type of these types of devices out in space. Really, what it will do is confirm that we actually came here far before our history books tell us, and we probably came in the form of star people, right? As cosmic beings, cosmic consciousness, cosmic awareness. And so just know, though, as humans, the parts of us that keep us grounded, that help us see this bigger picture, are the calling in. This is Buddha, or it's a little Buddha. It's an ebony Buddha, but he represents also this power animal, this idea of energetically embodying the Black Panther, right? Like panther energy, right next to grandmother. And right here at grandmother's head is Frog, and he's on his back. And this is the collective. It's kind of like, the Hanged Man, right? Or the Fool, that kind of archetypal energy right now that's bigger. In fact, here is the other Buddha, and he is literally about awakening that third eye, understanding that through our suffering is how we find our freedom, right? Our road, our path to freedom, our unwinding, our unfolding, the sacred geometry that is woven into our life, right? With every cell, every organ, every tissue that we've attained through our ancestry, and now we know is much greater than just one level. I mean, it's multiple levels and dimensions, right? And we only see a part of it. Just like I was saying earlier, we only see a part of the color spectrum. And this is the beauty of the James Webb. I love how this is weaving in, because the James Webb telescope is enabling us to get information from different levels of light frequencies that are in the infrared and beyond bands. So we can't see that with our naked eye, but we can calculate information that's being gathered on those levels through this telescope to then show us patterns and give us data about the surroundings, and in fact, about the past, about where we truly came from. This is where we will be exploring and understanding who we truly are in the future. And I think this is why right here we've got the eye of God, and it's so interesting. It's sitting here together, and it almost looks like a cobra to me from where I'm sitting. I don't know where it looks like here for you. But if you can imagine this cosmic creature, the snake, the serpent, really looking directly into the eye of God, right? The eye wide open. So with your eyes wide open, move forward, right? Grandfather on your mother's side, father. That's interesting, grandfather and father, but both two lineages, your different lineages. The sun is really impacting the downloads that we're getting. The insight here is Eagle Condor. Take a greater view of what is going on for you, because it is showing you what is not accessible right now. Here's the lock. It's showing you what is not maybe fully seen or understood by you. And it definitely has something to do with home. This little deer toe tip is about home. And here's an ancient one on your mother's side, the man, the male energy, the men on your mother's lineage, the ancient ones. And they are really here supporting you and me and us in this solar transformation that's happening, the solar transfiguration. The sun, we're going through the photon belt, we're having explosions beyond understanding, right? There's a lot of solar activity right now. It's affecting our DNA, it's affecting everything, right? And so let that give you a greater picture, a greater understanding of who you are, who you are as a human, your identity, because there's something that you may not even be seeing clearly. And I was thinking as I was looking at this saying, okay, if there's the lock, where is the key? And as many of you know who follow these readings, here's the key close at hand. The key is Saturn, right? The key is how Saturn plays out in our blueprint, which is all about our structure, right? Our father, our authority figures. And that's huge, right? There's huge upheaval right now. So it's all about talking, stick, and staying grounded. Speaking our truth, staying grounded, that is what's key. And that is what will change our frequency. And here's 2 pointers, so interesting, saying, I believe it's like coming back around to this place I said that was about innocence, right? Being in, here we go, I'm getting off screen again. Our innocence, right? Staying in our innocence. And here's a little glittery star reminding us of the star nations that's within us. You know, so when I'm talking about the representation of these pieces, you have to realize or remember that, you know, our insight, our inner sight speaks to us through symbols and metaphor. Our in this information, this greater level of superconscious information. In fact, here it is. It's like the superconscious journey that we're on is pointing straight up, and that is making me think about, I don't know if it went off yet. I believe, I can't think of the name right now, but the capsule, the rocket that's ready for launch in Florida, going to the moon and then eventually to Mars, which apparently one of its missions is to test the effects of radiation and long-term radiation effects on would-be astronauts in space. And I found out the other day that there are dummy astronauts in the capsule, and they are hooked up to data collecting devices that will be bringing information to us, bringing information forward about how we are affected by radiation and how these people going into space over a long period of time will or may be affected, and or especially those that are going to go on these journeys to Mars. And this is what, here we have the divine feminine, you know, really looking at the great ones, right? Again, this ancestral work we're doing, it's way back, and it's going to be affecting the future way forward. These are these types of events that are happening right now, like the space launch, the new telescope, the James Webb, that is going to have consequences down the road, right? About us knowing who we are. And here you go. This is like the crown chakra. So right now, if you want to get this information yourself and see it through your own heart, your own eyes, this heart and mind, I was saying earlier, in the bigger picture, we need coherence when we think about this. So allow yourself to come into coherence with the heart, because the heart has a greater field, a greater electromagnetic field, far greater than the mind, than the brain. So these downloads coming through right now are filled with creative information, creative energy. You may not know what that means. I know it's a real practice of trust right now for me too, to say, I have these visions of things I want to create, and I want to be the channel for it, the receptacle. I don't know how it's going to happen or how it's going to turn out, but I am calling that into my conscious awareness. And then with this intention and the attention that you or I am putting on it, we have Jupiter here amplifying everything. And here, this has been coming through in every reading I've had this month, or last month, was big time remembering, though, we're being affected by Uranus, and things are going to come sudden and unexpectedly, electrically, electronically, big collective changes, right? And they're going to come sudden and unexpectedly, surprisingly, but they are happening in order to activate our passion, our passion, reignite a passion within us that has been brought through us from our star nations, right? Our knowing, our wisdom of being a star being, right? We are stardust, and we know scientifically this is true. It's not just a song, but it is a statement or a beautifully written poem. It is the truth, and it is what will bring us into this divine relationship with the self, right? The sacred union of the self. And it is the soul remembering. We're having soul rememberings. Look at this beautiful spiral. I mean, this is incredible. So this is the heartbeat, this is drum, and this is the throat chakra. So speak your truth based on what you feel in your heart, right? The Venus aspect of yourself, the Venusian aspect of yourself. Let that be your truth. Let that be your song. Let that be the song that sings your heart alive, that sparks your heart alive. And know that your grandmother's, your mother's mother is really here supporting you with the collective. It's the wise women. I feel so grateful in my life that I had wise women who really were my first spiritual teachers, my grandmothers, both my grandmothers, right? And then other women that were my best friends' mothers. They were the wisdom keepers, right? And they had passion for the earth, passion for who they were as the embodiment of the divine feminine. So really honor that within you, whether you're a man or a woman or both, it really doesn't matter. This is what, I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago with a neighbor who was just kind of outraged with me about my thoughts on that. And so my thought was like, I think it's fine for anybody, deciding or wanting to be another sex or, the world is our oyster right now, and how we want to configure ourselves, right? It can happen if that's what we want. But my invitation was to, why not love ourselves for who we are, just how we are? Why is it that we can't love ourselves just the way we are? And I think if you really look at the deeper level of that question, it's not so much about why we can't, but it's like, why do others not, right? And why are we trying to unify ourselves in some way that we feel we're being accepted, rather than accepting ourselves? Because if we could accept ourselves at the core for who we are, and we could really shine that out into the world and amplify that, that is what truly is going to create unity for us, right? Because I've received this message for a couple years now, is that unity is diversity and vice versa. Diversity is unity. And that is what came through in our DNA, right? As star nations, as multiple levels and frequencies, as it came in through the eye of God, through the all that is, through the great mystery. Diversity, right, was the unification. I'm going to go back to let me stop sharing my screen. Yeah, so unity is diversity. And this, I just invite you to think about that. There is no right or wrong, obviously. And it just is. It's just a thought to allow the mind to rest upon, and a thought for your future generations, a thought that can become a thing as we start to see the patterns from the past and how we are wanting to change that in the now, in our conscious awareness now. When we know that there are patterns that we want to change and aspects of ourselves we want to embrace in a whole new way, so that the future is changed forever. That our descendants, our future generations, our future, the evolution of the future human is being affected by the choices that you're making, by the thoughts that you're having here and now in this present moment. So it's just another invitation to be in the I am presence, in the embrace of all that is, right? The great mystery and the beauty of all of that, right? And let that be the container for the superconscious, right? This expansion beyond words, beyond imagination, that some of the beauty that's coming through with that is these new scientific ways of traveling into space, into the cosmos to gain information. So, thank you for joining me. I just want everyone to know, even if I don't record this, I usually rattle to close the circle, and I invite you to do the same. To just simply take all of that in. You can listen to the recording again multiple times. That's the beauty of these Zoom recordings. And I thank you for your presence, those who are here today, tomorrow, and down the road. And holding those elevated emotions of all of the chakras that are open, fully functioning, front and back, balanced and aligned. Joy, peace, strength, courage, gratitude, humility, and divine love. Thank you all. I look forward to next week, and I hope this helps bring some clarity, love, and light into your life. And to Susan, who is now on the other side, maybe this joining of other family members on the other side will bring more clarity and wisdom to all those that are a part of this family lineage. In full faith, so be it. Aha. Aha. Oh, wait, sorry about that. A minute. It did end it. I'm going to cut it out.